as you may have seen the pulp that has changed into paper and paper into a notebook. Similarly, if you take the example of a cotton shirt, cotton is actually cultivated in fields and is subjected to various processes in the factory to give us the final product for use, which is a t-shirt in this case. And you will see that the finished product always has more value and utility than the raw material that it is made from. So where are all these finished goods produced? Yes, in factories and in industries. And that is what we will be learning in this video. Welcome to the first video of the chapter on industries. To begin with, the term industry itself refers to the economic activity that is involved with the production of goods, extraction of minerals, or the provision of services. Industries can also be classified as they are classified on the basis of three things. 1. Raw materials. 2. Size. And 3. Ownership. Now let's find each of these factors one by one. Let's start with raw materials. Okay, depending on the type of raw material they use, industries can be classified as agro-based, mineral-based, marine-based, and forest-based. I find the names pretty self-explanatory, don't you think so? Okay. And based on size, industries can be classified as small scale and large scale. Now, cottage or household industries fall under the small scale category, where the products are made by hand or by artisans. Large scale industries involve a lot of capital investment and the technology used is much more superior. And coming to the final category of classification of industries, which is on the basis of ownership. Under ownership, the industries can be classified as private sector, state owned or the public sector, the joint sector, and which is the fourth one, it's the cooperative sector. Factors that generally play an important part in deciding upon the location of the industries are availability of raw material, land, water, labor, power, capital, transport, and market. Now, major industrial regions of the world are in the east of North America, Western and Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Eastern Asia. Now, generally the major industrial regions tend to be located in the temperate areas near the seaports and especially near coal fields. One of the worst industrial disasters of all the time that is remembered in India till date is the Bhopal gas tragedy that occurred on the 3rd of December in 1984 around 12:30 in the night. Okay, as decided as last time, let us look at how industries are distributed. Now, the big leagues when it comes to the world of industries are the iron and steel industry, the textile industry, and the information technology or the IT industry. Now, while the iron and steel industry and textile industries are the older industries, the IT industry is comparatively new and is emerging rapidly. Now, emerging industries are also known as the sunrise industries. Other than the IT industry, wellness, hospitality, and knowledge are other industries that fall under the class of sunrise industries. Germany, United States, China, Japan, and Russia are well concentrated with the iron and steel industries. And on the other hand, countries like India, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan have a large number of textile industries. Now, the major hubs of the IT industry are Silicon Valley region in the central California, and cities like Bengaluru and Pune in India are also examples of that. Now, if you recall, I told you in the last segment that industries are similar to farming. They run on input, process, and output system. So, the iron and steel industry also follow the same system. It comprises of various inputs, processes, and then finally outputs. So, you see practically everything around us is made of steel or from a steel equipment. That's right. Before 1800 AD, iron and steel industries were located where accessibility to raw materials, power supply, and running water was quick and easy. Later, the ideal location for industry was near coal fields and close to canals and railways. Because the source of raw material had to be close by, running water was always essential, and the transport of the finished goods to the markets was also important. After 1950, the ideal location of the iron and steel industry was the vast areas of flat land near the seaports. Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, popularly known as TISCO, which is also privately owned. Now, after independence, the government took the initiative and set up several iron and steel plants. Now, after TISCO, several other industrial plants were also set up in Jamshedpur. And these plants are involved in the production of chemicals, locomotive parts, agricultural equipments, machinery, tin plate, cables and wires. Well, that was all about the iron and steel industry. Let us now learn about another major industry, which is the textile manufacturing. The term textile is derived from the Latin word texere, which means to weave. Now, weaving cloth from yarn is an ancient art, and various materials such as cotton, wool, silk, jute, flax have been used for making a cloth. The textile industry can be divided based on the raw materials they are used. Fibers are the raw materials of textile industry, and fibers can be natural or man-made. Wool, silk, cotton, linen and jute are some of the natural fibers, while nylon, polyester, acrylic and rayon are man-made fibers. Well, we have looked at the older industries of iron and steel and cotton. Let us now move on to the more recent ones, and that is the more rapidly emerging one, IT industry. You may have heard of the phrase history repeats itself. Like the Industrial Revolution occurred around the 17th century, the dot-com revolution was something that stormed the world in the 90s. And while many thought it was just a bubble waiting to burst and fizzle out, things only spiraled out of control, but for the better, at least when it came to the advancements in technology. Imagine how much could be accomplished if companies could operate on 24/7 workday. And believe it or not, some software companies in the United States of America and Bengaluru in India have collaborated to achieve this. There are many ways in which this working style can be executed, and that too across oceans. For example, two software professionals, Danny in Silicon Valley, California, and Smita in Bengaluru, are working on a joint project. When it is night in India and Smita is sleeping, Danny in California is working. And before he shuts the shop for daily, he shoots a message, ideally an email to Smita, updating her on the project's progress. He probably marks a few other things on the email too, just to keep them in the loop. When Smita begins her day, Danny's message awaits her, and she continues right where he has left off. And this communication continues to and fro cycles as if they were sitting in an adjoining office. So you see, the IT industry deals with the storage, processing and distribution of information. Today, this industry has become global, and this can be attributed to a series of technological, political and socio-economic events. Now, with all these industries all over the world, I'm sure that you must be wondering which industry interests you the most. While you think about that, I'm going to take your leave, and I'll see you in another fun yet informative chapter. Until then, bye.
Tutormate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on Apple App Store or Google Play Store.